VGK drops its second straight game, losing late to the Lightning. Our recap coming up next, right here on this WTF edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick with our Weekender from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen, our first show of the day, each and every day. Find us wherever you get your podcast. Things are already becoming unhinged, Mr. Golick.
Yeah,
Make sure that you find us wherever you get your podcast. Please make sure to subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. And we are brought to you, I might add, by FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com. Why? Because FanDuel is America's numero uno sports betting partner. Okay, so VGK lets one get away last night, giving up a couple of goals in the final 2:22 in the 4-3 loss. First, Brandon Hazel, then Mr. Nikita Kucherov, who only plays when he wants to. And that was it. Things just fell apart. Success getting through the middle of the ice, said Bruce Cassidy post-game. How did things unravel so quickly for VGK?
I mean, let's start by acknowledging that it was a pretty good 57 minutes of hockey. Tampa is obviously a very worthy opponent, as are the Vegas Golden Knights, at least somewhat. It wasn't bad. I mean, the structure of the goals given up, we'll get into those, I'm sure, in a second here. But it was a pretty good 57 minutes of hockey. And then this is, to quote Cassidy, if you didn't have this teed up already, good teams close out games and play winning hockey. Well, the Golden Knights are not a good team right now. That's hopefully going to change, but these are the things that just can't happen. I know it's game number 5, and I know an overreaction is the last thing that anyone should do. The concern, though, and why a game like this, why dropping this game does matter. Remember last season, we heard from Mark Stone at the end. Don't get ourselves in this spot to begin with, being low in the Western Conference, getting stuck playing a high-end team. The Golden Knights didn't just lose 1 point. They lost 2 points in this game. You have to close out your opponents. And at least if the game goes to overtime and the Golden Knights salvage a point and maybe come back and win in Florida, we're talking about a 3-point road trip. No big deal. Everything is fine. But the Golden Knights let at least 1 point get away from them last night. 2 points, in my opinion. And these are the things that do matter come April, if and when and if this team has playoff aspirations.
Yeah, it's a one-line team once again, and we talked about that yesterday. And 2 games in a row.
One line in a power play, right?
Yeah, really. And then what do they have now? 5 power play goals on the season, 1 per game. Yeah, and 2 games in a row. The scoring just ends after 2 periods. So there's no late closing punch for this team.
How about an adjustment from the coach?
What type of adjustment? You're saying?
I don't know. I mean, it's happened 2 games in a row.
They're tired. And that flight was so long, bro.
Yeah. But I mean, listen, this is a spot where, everybody, it's not just on the 18 players on the ice and the goaltender. It's also on Cassidy, and this is a time when he needs to kind of read what is happening and start looking at things. I'd start by looking at the defense. We only got about 38 minutes today, but yeah, so much to hit.
Yeah, can you assess the play of Adin Hill in that contest last night? He did have a couple of really big saves on Kucherov in one sequence there, I think in the second period. VGK, again, back-to-back penalties at the end of the second period. And luckily for them, they kind of got away with, they gave up a 5-on-3 for a minute and change. So what was it like for Adin Hill last night in net? What can you see in his game? Everyone is praising him about how well is he playing. Is he playing that well? Are you there?
8-5. Yeah, I'm here. I just pulled up. I was talking to someone. 3-8-1 goals
Don't
against.
Let me interfere.
3-8-1. I won't believe. I definitely won't. 3-8-1 goals against and 8.51 save percentage. Yeah, 381 goals against, 8.51 save percentage. That's
That
all I
should
need
have
to
been.
say
It
right there.
should have been Samsonov. I'm going to argue to the end of time that last night should have been.
I called Hill.
Samsonov.
I told you it was going to be Hill
You
last
said
night.
Hill,
A couple
but
people
look
thought
at
I was
the.
off on that one, but I was right.
They have to go according to the calendar that they scripted. No, my feel was go with Samsonov there in that sandwich game. I really did. I felt like you should play. No, all jokes
Yeah, but
aside.
your only logic is because it's Sammy and Sandwich. There's no hockey sense behind that, which still might have been better. I mean, to be fair, you were on the ball. We'll talk about more of that in segment number 3. How on the ball you were yesterday, I guess.
Don't mess with me.
But
in 3 years, it's the first time I ever connected there and had my picks correct.
So Aiden Hill is moving slower.
Well, congratulations for making it through the show for 3 straight years.
Right. Oh yeah, you got like an award or acknowledgement.
No,
they
gave me a shout out. 3 years. 3 years at lockdown.
It's an auto post. Relax, Tony. Don't get that excited.
Hopefully I get a new hat or something or a new shirt.
We haven't gotten any swag in a while.
No swagoo. No.
In a minute. Okay. So assess the play of Aiden Hill. The stats don't lie. He's not playing that well. He's throwing his hand up and getting pissed off at the defense whenever something happens. These are things that shouldn't happen. I don't care what the circumstances are. Save that crap for the locker room. Work it out at practice. Don't hang your defense out to dry because they didn't make a great play. I mean, listen, it's game number 5 of the season. Everyone is struggling. Coach Cassidy, new narrative. The shooters are ahead of the checking and the defense and the goaltending right now. Well, we're definitely seeing that. He certainly wasn't wrong. Everyone's ahead of Aiden Hill right now. You saw some nice stretches. Like I go back to the game against the Blues where they had a late power play in the empty net for a while. Not a long while, but they had some good rushes at the end. Aiden made some nice saves, and he has made some good saves. Like it hasn't been all doom and gloom. The defense has been putrid in front of him. I'll certainly say that. Someone out there said there's a cheat code for Pietrangelo and Noah Hanfin when they're on the ice together on that pairing. Yeah, for the other team, it's the cheat code.
For the other team, yeah.
For the other team, it's a cheat code. That article was spot on. Spot on. So I'm sorry, I don't like to do that.
You're fiery today. It's good. It's good.
No, it was.
Don't be a Tony.
Moving on from that, Hanfin hasn't been good. Pietrangelo hasn't been good, and the goaltending behind hasn't been good. You got problems right now. But again, it's game 5. It's game 5.
Again,
now if we're still saying that when it's game 12, now we got a problem.
Oh, absolutely. We predicted this will be a roller coaster ride, to say the very least, for VGK, especially early on when they're trying.
Which isn't saying this team is going to suck. Let's be very clear what you just said. No. You said roller coaster. There's nothing fair, foul, or there's nothing foul about that comment.
No, because of all the changes and what they need to incorporate and how they need to get that chemistry going with this team. And Vegas, again, might have relied, as we mentioned, too much on that top line. 27 points through 5 games, blah, blah, blah. 10 points for Jack Eichel. But there's a lot of concern there as far as offensive scoring goes. Brendan Brisson played with in the place of Victor Olofsson, which we thought might happen, and they moved Tanner Pearson up to the second line. And that was interesting. Pavel Dorofeyev got his second goal. Brisson, Schwind, and Holtz. They buzzed a little bit early on in that game. I don't know if anything else really happened there. And the minutes are not being distributed across the board. And this is a 4-line team. That to me is a concern. It is.
My concern going into the game, and this is the tweet that I put out there when I saw what the lineup was, I liked how Cassidy wanted that energy line back together with Howden down on the 4th line with Wah and Kolosar. I like that. Schwint centering the 3rd line with Brisson and Holtz, I believe.
Who's the oldest player on that line? Is it Holtz? Like 22?
Probably Schwint. Probably Schwint, I think. I think Schwint. But we're talking. I think the old player is 22 years old on that line.
Schwinn just steps right in there and gets the start there, and he's the golden child all of a sudden. He's the new man.
He's had, but to be fair, he's actually looked pretty good this season. He's looked very good this season.
No doubt. He has to grow and develop. We know that.
So, yeah, long story short, that 3rd line I was concerned about, but they actually were not a liability, but their minutes were very limited. I mean, Schwint, 8.5 minutes, The fourth line players actually got more minutes, which I had a feeling might end up happening the way that was set up last night. So basically, Golden Knights were a 3-line team last night. But got to talk about the defense here, and that'll probably come up in What the Friday as well. But just looking at these last ones, like that last goal, okay, fine. The narrative on the last goal, bad puck luck in front of the net.
Bad ice, bro.
Okay.
That puck was bouncing. This ice is not very good.
Okay, yeah, but it's fair for both teams. So the puck bounces off at Haig, I think, in the crease, game winner. Fine, who cares about that? But how the heck are they able to Kucherov just able to get that puck right at center ice and get a shot and get deep? Like, that's the problem right there. Another one where Hannafin, I think this is the second or third goal. Hannafin is just asleep at the wheel, and Pietrangelo can't stop the play. Another blue line issue here with Shea Theodore. Tries to pinch the puck in. This is the first goal of the game. Can't keep the puck in. 2-on-1 transitions the other side. Pietrangelo can't do his job and stop the pass. It's a 2-on-1. It's a tough play. Let's not get too mad about that side of it. But the real problem happens at the blue line, which, if you recall, I put a tweet out there during okay.
Oh, you okay?
During the game on Tuesday against the Capitals, where Theodore and Pietrangelo keeping that puck on the offensive side of the blue line is going to be a challenge. And then one more. Haig is just, I think this is the second goal. Haig is not even moving his feet. Go on the NHL app on your phone. It takes 30 seconds to do and watch all the goals. And Haig is just asleep as the play is completely behind him. So Coach Cassidy said this needs to be the best defense in the Pacific. I think he was referencing the AHL Pacific.
Oh, could be.
So if that's the barometer, they're about halfway up there.
What would the Washington Capitals website, how would they have summarized this game?
About the way we have?
Exactly. The best, that might be the best website in the NHL. Why? Because they're fair and
balanced.
Coming up next, VGK will be clashing with the defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. That's next up. And later on, it's WTF, What the Friday. Boy, I'm trying to save some space for that segment.
We could have kept going for 4 more minutes in that first one.
Exactly. I cut you off. You okay? Drink some water, have some more coffee. Back with more right after this on Locked On Golden Knights. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. That's right. Run your game all season long with PrizePicks. And PrizePicks, the only real money game daily fantasy platform with injury insurance. They have a policy so your lineups stay in play every day. Even if one of your players gets injured, if your player leaves in the first half or the first period in hockey, it doesn't return. PrizePicks will keep your lineup live. That's right. And then you need to play along with a lot of different players. You want to play PrizePicks alongside Drewski, Joe Budden, and MMA champ Sean O'Malley. That's right. Now you can find community plays. That's another great feature of PrizePicks. Sign up today. Get a $50 instant bonus when you play just $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It is guaranteed. And PrizePicks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. They need a WTF Friday. They do. Each Tuesday, PrizePicks discounts select player projections up to 25%, and that provides even more value for you and your lineups. PrizePicks, the best way to get real money, to win real money this football season. Which players are going off? Which ones aren't? Make your picks today. Do it in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money. That's right. All season long. Check it out at PrizePicks. Welcome back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick, we are reporting from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. You can find us wherever you get your podcast. And please make sure to subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. That's where you can find the Chris Times, Chris Jr. Show. And that's tomorrow morning. Okay, so the Panthers, they played last night again minus Alexander Barkov, lower body injury when he was smushed into the boards the other night. Matthew Tkachuk with an illness also out. They were back.
What kind
They
of
won.
illness does he have? Like, do you have anything on that?
No, I haven't seen it. I'm going to check. You know who might tell us? Washington Capitals website. Maybe we'll check there because they're just too honest. I love that website. I love that. They even tell you, they even call out players that made really brutal turnovers and stuff. So this is a team that won a couple of games at Boston and at Columbus without those two players. But last night they fell in OT 3-2. First victory of the season for Vancouver. The line that has been buzzing has been Sam Reinhart, Anton Liddell, and Etu, whatever his last name is, Lustanen, well, however you pronounce his name. Okay, I gave up on that. What do you think about this Panthers team? It's
Lustanen. I mean,
I know
listen,
I couldn't get it out there, bro.
There's some defensive troubles and goalie pains right now, I guess. Bobrovsky is a 2.99 and an 8.98 save percentage. Spencer Knights is a 3.56 and an 8.91. Almost certainly all signs point to Samsonov going for the Golden Knights. Better go for the Golden Knights tomorrow night. Afternoon, I guess, in our time. And I don't know if it's going to be Bob or Spencer Knight against the Golden Knights. I don't know if it matters much at this point because they seem like the same goalie from a statistical perspective. And, this is a team, the Florida Panthers, you take out Barkov and Matty Tkachuk, and you still got Reinhart, Anton Lindell you talked about, Sam Bennett. Evan Rodriguez is still there churning, finding ways to stay in the league. Nate Schmidt. 2 points for Nate Schmidt on this young season, so there you go. And I mean, listen, it's a lot of rookies working their way through as well. Samskovich, one more I saw, Belinsky's. So a lot of youngsters working their way up in this lineup with a lot of vets. So if there's a positive, it's that the Golden Knights are catching the Florida Panthers when they're not necessarily in form, and you got some injuries, but so are the Golden Knights. Sloppy game, a lot of goal scoring, unless Samsonov gets bailed out by the post a couple of times.
Yeah. So early practice for the VGK. So
they are practicing. Coach Cassidy did talk about that. They were practicing win, lose, or draw, according to Cassidy yesterday. So that's
right. Early
necessary.
Practice. Early, so he could get the beach time in. He's got to get it in.
I knew you couldn't let a whole show go without that.
Of course. Well, he's in South Beach Bruce. That's where he got his nickname.
You think he's is he a shorts kind of guy or a Speedo kind of guy?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to ask the Washington Capitals website about that. Maybe they have some unique photos to share for you. So they did add, they did add Nate Schmidt, and they did add Adam Boquist. They lost a lot of good talent though, good pieces. Brandon Montour, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Vladimir Tarasenko, Ryan Lundberg, and Nick Cousins. They did. They lost a bunch of players.
They went through what the Golden Knights did a little bit. Just there's only so much money to go around, only so much cap space, and so be it. But still a solid core. Still a solid core.
Yeah, very concerning for this game and tail end of this trip. VGK, even Mark Stone was just like sort of resigned at some point. I mean, he really does need some more Sprouts selfies to get him back into the rhythm. I do. I think
Mark Stone always is going to give it to you fair, and I don't think he's the type to go all Connor McDavid like we saw in that Amazon series where he's going to start yelling and swearing at these guys. And my concern after that game, going back to the Golden Knights Lightning game, you and I were talking last night about this. Cassidy, in my opinion, was very soft in his post-game presser. Now, Cassidy's talking to the media. Well, he's talking to a Vegas Golden Knights employee. Let's call it what it is. And he's not talking to the player, so he doesn't necessarily need to go out there and take out his frustrations on Ashley, and he didn't, and he's done it before, but not in this case. But I would have liked to see just a little more frustration, I think, out of Coach Cassidy. Like, these are very important points. 2 points now are just as important as 2 points in February and April, and they all add up at the end, especially if at the end of the season, where did it go wrong? Where do we point our finger? What games could we have won to get in the playoffs or be a higher seed? Well, obviously back on October the 17th is the first game they're going to look at. And I don't know. I mean, is Cassidy's not softening up, is he? He's not becoming like a player's coach. Like maybe he just wants to settle in Vegas and just wants to be here for a while. And he's gonna, maybe make sure the players say nice things about him. And I don't mean this in a joking sense. I mean that seriously. I mean, maybe Cassidy is just going to dull his sword a little bit so he can hang out in Vegas longer. I don't know. Yeah. But I think Cassidy should have a little more fire and passion, Condos. There you go. A little more fire from Cassidy last night would have been nice, I think.
Okay, so we've seen the Florida Panthers now. They've had back-to-back short seasons, right? Because the Cup season there, when they went against VGK, and then this past...
It's affected their chemistry a lot.
Yeah, no, I'm just curious. Will this impact their team later on? It has to.
It has to. It has to.
Point,
it has
right?
to. It has to. It has to.
Because VGK, let's face it, VGK whining about, okay, but it was great. We won the Cup. But, oh, my goodness, such a short season. Oh, geez. We had a short summer. And they count the days this year of all that time they had off, remember? So now for this Florida Panthers team, sooner or later now, back-to-back seasons, they've gone through this. And so we might see some wear and tear as the season continues.
For sure. I mean, you're seeing it now. I mean, the injury to Barkov, that was more of a bone type of thing going into the boards, not necessarily a fatigue thing, but you'll certainly, might see that stuff later in the season, and it'll definitely affect their play. And that's just, listen, everyone hopes their team goes through some type of fatigue in the midseason because they played until the final game of the previous 2 seasons. So that's a good thing. It's, that's something that fans should be happy about down in Florida. Florida, great hockey state all of a sudden, huh? Look at that.
Yeah, how about that? And
the last 5 Western Conference championships have gone through Florida, correct?
Yes, I think that was the stat. Yeah,
Florida. There was a Tampa the 3 before that. I think so.
Right.
Either way, Florida has had some wonderful results from a hockey perspective.
Don't forget face-off time, 3 p.m. Las Vegas time on Saturday. Whenever I say "hear me out," Golic, people tend to listen. So hear me out. WTF is coming up next, right here on Locked On Golden Knights.
Okay, that's fun.
FanDuel Sportsbook. That is the official sports betting partner right here of Locked On Golden Knights. So much action. Of course, there's Major League Baseball. We're going to have the WNBA, that season coming to a close. You could bet on those games. College football is primo this upcoming weekend, and the National Football League. It's all right there. And when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place all of your bets. You can get started with $200 in bonus bets. It's guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Place a $5 bet, you get back $200, win, lose, or as Cassidy says, draw. That's FanDuel.com. Start the season off with a big return at FanDuel. It is America's #1 sportsbook. Welcome back on this edition, Froggy edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
Already Friday.
I hope my voice doesn't leave me now because I have a ton of games this weekend. We appreciate you making us
tea and whiskey.
Yeah, I don't do the whiskey part anymore because
I don't do the tea part anymore.
I was doing whiskey with just a splash of tea back.
I was doing whiskey with a splash of whiskey.
With a back of whiskey. Don't forget, tomorrow it's the Chris Times Chris Jr. show right here on our YouTube channel. Check that out. And we appreciate everyone tuning in around the globe today. Okay, so I have a few things here. It's WTF time. We gave us a little bit of time, which means we'll go only about 10 minutes over today.
I'll take it.
So what was NHL Network's Jamie Hirsch doing on the set last night between periods? She was in the studio. She was the studio host. Can we keep her here in Vegas? She has more hockey knowledge than some of the state runs. WTF. Came out firing today. One other WTF, and then I'm pretty much going to be done because there's so many comments, I think, out there today. WTF, the Tahoe Night Monsters, Chris, announced their opening day roster yesterday. 2 goaltenders. Guess who they are?
I'm guessing who one's not.
Okay, who's the not one?
The Seville.
Seville is. Seville's one of the
Seville and
he's-
Paps.
Yep. Seville
Paps,
and
let's go.
and Jordan Paperny. Yeah, those are the two goaltenders.
I thought
So-
that's what the WTF was going to be, but Seville wasn't going to be one of them.
No, he is one of them. I think they need to do one of those, searches to try to find him again. That would be kind of cool. But now he winds up there. That guy he's just getting bounced around. I feel bad for him. There's some
He was in
other
the same organization for a few years, though, at least. So I mean, that's something.
Yeah, that's true. He hasn't had to move out of the Silver State. Okay, that's fair. Other names: Samuel Mayer, Arthur Kolach, Bear Hughes. That's part of the opening weekend team, and they start next week. WTF? I just feel bad now for Isaiah Seville. Where's he going to go in this organization? Where's he going to go?
He'll be starting by next week for the Golden Knights. What are you talking about?
Good point. Go ahead, Chris. Chime in.
All right. First, WTF. There's a promo video out there where they're expecting 5,000 tonight for the Silver Knights opener. I hope that's accurate. So I'm not even gonna say WTF. I'm just gonna say they're expecting 5,000, and they only need 4,998 more because me and Chris will be there, and I'll count everyone that's there, and we'll see how accurate that is. All right. So on Sunday, I don't know if this was the worst promo in the history of sports, but it might be up there for hockey at least. The Golden Knights did emo nights, and one of the intermission polls was an absolute swing and a miss for two reasons. It was something about like best emo band or something like that, or what do you want to hear at intermission, whatever it was. And they listed 3 obscure emo bands I never even heard of, so that means they're true emo bands. But then the fourth option was Blink-182 and Green Day. Blink-182 and Green Day are as far from emo as it gets. That is pop punk or even just pop rock now at this point. And I'm not knocking either band. That's just what they are. They are definitely not anywhere near emo. So that's the first swing and miss on emo night. And the second swing and miss is, why is Vegas even giving a pub to Green Day, considering how they were trashing the city over the fact that all the Oakland teams keep coming here. So that's a swing and a miss. WTF, VGK, whoever's in charge of that. It was nighttime minus last night. Frozen a bunch for me finally. First time I've ever had any issues. I had to go back, exit, go back, exit. It was an absolute terrible experience last night. So WTF, nighttime minus. Cassidy was soft in the post-game presser. WTF. The defense is very not good right now. I understand, and I was someone who thought that this was going to be an amazing change for the D pairings. On paper, it was nice. In reality, it's not nice. So expect some changes, I think, soon for the D pairings, whether they go back to last year's pairings, whether White Cloud gets a Scratchzilla tomorrow night. Who knows what it's going to be, but changes need to happen on the defense. WTF. And my last one, Aiden Hill, is a 3.81 with an 8.51 save percentage through 4 appearances. WTF. You want me to get into comments, Tony?
Oh, I got a couple right here.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so Hubert Jakar, WTF. Tony for saying the VGK wants a bad season for number 27. So why does Bruce keep playing him on power play number 1? And that's
He's playing great.
Comment.
He's playing.
No,
Theodore on the offensive side is playing great.
No, I said that if he plays poorly, he probably gets to stay in Las Vegas, but he won't get the loot that he wants. So that's where I was coming from. Dart Tommy Vegas, Dart Tommy 774. WTF saw the Ducks game from down low, and those gray jerseys are straight fire. Retire the gold, please. So that was a good one. Of course, man, there's a lot here. Or E-runs checking in. WTF Hill has given up at least 3 every game, and VGK hasn't shown the scoring depth to overcome that every game. WTF there. A lot of fans checking. Oh, T.A. Neiman, she chimes in. WTF. Why is Tony clairvoyant all of a sudden? You got it, sis.
People can rip us, but we know this team pretty well, and every now and then, that's fun.
So wait, I'm clairvoyant. Why? Why was I clairvoyant?
Your WTFs. No, stop. Your locks. You had McNabb as the first goal scorer, for crying out loud. You had the score last night, didn't you?
Yeah, 4-3 on the other
Oh,
side.
how about that McNabb goal? That like I'll just throw a WTF at that. McNabb has such good instincts when he applies them on the offensive side of the blue line.
Wasn't he shocked to get the puck?
No, he was wide open. He
I know. I thought he
nice
was
quick toe
surprised.
drag and a snipe. I mean, beat Vasilevsky clean. Got to give him that. He is so good when the opportunity presents itself on the offensive side of the blue line.
All right, go ahead. Tell us some more WTFs that you
Michael Dalsky 1209. I'm wondering whose nephew this is. I got an idea by the time when I read this here, or uncle by that matter. Nice to read article in the RJ about how good Shea and Petro have been together, and coach agrees. WTF?
Nobody said that. Really? Is that a true one?
That's a true one. No, that's a true YouTube comment. I sent you a screenshot of that yesterday, Tony.
Oh, that's
a true YouTube comment.
So someone was saying that was spot on. This is the time of year usually when things start to go south even a little bit. What do?
Not the last 2 seasons, Tony. It's happening sooner. And the Golden Knights have had a good first third. They had a great last third, obviously the Stanley Cup year, and they treaded water last year in the last third. But they had a 20, such a huge cushion early on. This is, they needed to find a way for 3 points on this road trip. And if they get 2 tomorrow night, okay, fine, whatever. But you coughed at least 1 point away. So, this is a concern. It's a roller coaster, but the roller coaster ride is starting sooner. Not as much lift hill as last year. Not as much lift hill.
What I was about to say is usually when things go sour for VGK, even just a tad, what do?
Deflector.
They ask the media to write a Carlson story. They write a Carlson story about how great he is.
It's going to be in a response to when the surgery gets announced.
Oh, geez. Our guy, Lou Dog 777. Are we ever going to have a show without Tony DD, the Dasco version of ADD, where he doesn't interrupt or talk over Chris 20 or 30 times?
I might have planted that one. I might have planted that story.
You had another one about me that you were telling me about. There's South.
Someone said Lake. I think someone called you Lake Mead Tony in that same thread. I think I lost it though. I can find it really fast.
Well, that's pretty nice. There's worse.
Lake Mead Tony and the Jester hat. I remember that was the punchline. I forgot how he gets to the punchline, but I'll be there in 3 seconds. All right, here it is.
Yeah, no.
Here it is. Blah blah blah. It was just Kelly McCrimmon's. I mean, we have to cite our sources here. Kelly McCrimmon's SAP circumcision process. That's not me saying this. This is the Twitter handle.
This is good. We're reading.
Tell Lake Mead Tony to wear his Jester hat. So you're Lake Mead Tony. I like that. Now, wait, is Kelly McCrimmon's cap circumcision process, is he East Lake Mead or West Lake Mead? Because this is important.
Yeah, it's got to be East. It's got to be East, the East side. No,
on the east side. I kind of live on. I'm like southeast. I like it.
Well,
I like it down here. The construction on Boulder Highway can pound sand, but otherwise, yeah. WTF? Okay, here we go. 33 minutes. We still got time. WTF?
We still have 10 more minutes.
They are reducing Boulder Highway 1 lane in each direction, basically from the southern tip of Henderson all the way to about, I think, somewhere around Boulder Station Casino. They are going to have 2 lanes in each direction instead of 3 lanes in each direction, which makes a ton of sense with, was it Inspirada over there or whatever the community development is that is just blowing up.
Talking about like Cadence, maybe?
Cadence. I'm sorry. Inspirada's
far away.
Yeah, that's the other side. But what point being is Cadence is absolutely blowing the you-know-what up as far as population goes. So let's take Boulder Highway and make it 2 lanes instead of 3 lanes so we can have a bus lane going down each side. And they're also doing this in the interest of pedestrian safety as well. Hey, pedestrians, how about you use the crosswalk and stop playing Frogger on the middle of Boulder Highway so we don't have to waste all these tax dollars because you idiots can't go to a stop sign or use a crosswalk. Or if we're concerned about all of this, build pedestrian bridges over Boulder Highway and leave 3 lanes in each direction.
Yeah, I'm convinced that's a good WTF, but I'm convinced
that's a good one. That was a good one. I like that one.
I am convinced that the people behind all of these road changes and what have you. I've seen some of the funkiest exchanges in areas of town and traffic. I saw an accident traffic circle about a week ago. That was interesting. I'm convinced that all they do is doodle and then go, "Hey, here's the plan right here." Like there's just like, "Oh, that looks great, approved." We appreciate everyone tuning in. Money, yeah.
It's the same approval process as F1, Tony.
Oh, they just gave them the keys to the city in that instance. They just said, "Oh, F1, that sounds great. We'll give you all of our money and the keys to the city."
Well, because
Things are
F1
getting-
gave money to some certain people, and
fans are hoping that VGK stays out of town until from this point forward, up until after the F1 race is over. Because now
looks like they have a
really
long trip around there. Looks like, I don't know, we'll call it the F1 trip from Wednesday the 20th to Wednesday the 27th. You got a 5-game roadie, so that's good. But that game on Friday the 29th and the 30th, back-to-back home games, Tony, Winnipeg and Utah. It's going to suck the traffic around there.
Utah has 3 games in a row.
Utah's
coming
fun.
in here. This is the tail end of a back-to-back. We appreciate everyone tuning in. Thank you so much. Of course, don't forget, tomorrow it's the Chris and Chris Jr. show. You can find that as a YouTube exclusive. Shout out to all of our good friends around the world that tune in all seriousness, and especially our everydayers. From my man, Chris Golick, I am Tony Cardasco from Las Vegas. Hopefully, after broadcasting like dozens of games this weekend, I will be back with a full voice on Monday. I don't know how.
Who's hoping?
Not Lou Dog. Lou Dog says that I always cut you off. We'll see you again on Monday right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Have a great weekend. Pool season is now officially over. Woke up in the 50s here. And please take care.